at a coffee shop in Porto Vanus before this, just doing some research, getting everything prepared. And then I was parked like in a parallel parking spot. And when I came out, these two cars were so close to me. And that I got in my car, did like 5 or 6 back and forth. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm walking.
Yeah. Oh, no way. So your car's still there. You're doing the Austin Powers.
Yeah.
That scene
like,
where he's trying to get you the whole way. Yeah. No,
Exactly.
I've also got down the port, especially. I've got my car towed. I've got like so many parking tickets. And so like I came out of like El Corte Inglés. The car was gone. And I was just like, oh my God. And only because I have like an Apple AirTag in my car, I could see where it is. I was like, was it stolen? Is it in the police station? Like, I didn't know where it is. And because it's an Irish reg, like it wouldn't show up on the system if I searched for it. So only for the Apple AirTag, I was like, oh, it's this way.
Oh, God bless the AirTag, dude. You have to AirTag your life.
Yeah, I've got one literally everywhere. I'm going on the bike, actually. It's welded into it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Dude, I saw on your story maybe like a month ago, you were just chilling with Conor McGregor. You guys were like, looked like you guys had been boys your whole life, dude.
Yeah. So me and Conor, I think we first met in 2017. It's actually one of my most viewed videos.
I saw that one.
Partying in Las Vegas with Conor McGregor. And Ireland, Dublin is like the smallest place ever. There's no way to explain it. It's like a village. And the American mind can't comprehend. Ireland as a country is like smaller than Texas. Like, or just smaller than like most states. It's crazy. So everyone knows everyone. Everyone has a lot of mutual friends. And, you know, just when I was getting into the fitness industry, Conor was blowing up in MMA and we just kind of knew of each other. And yeah, you know, then we linked in 2017 because I was doing a few videos in SBG, you know, bodybuilder tries MMA. And yeah, we've seen each other a few times since then, and he's always super friendly.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
He's a good dude. I love him.
I know. That's awesome. It's so cool though. Like, there's a quote from Naval. He says something along the lines like, "When you're doing cool shit, the network just happens." Like,
like literally. So, if you want to attract like cool people into your life, this works with dating, relationships. Just MMA fighters, anything. You know, instead of chasing after someone and kind of coming across beggy and needy, just curate your life. Just like make it super sick to the point where people want to get involved with what you're doing and people gravitate towards you.
Dude, no doubt. Like just doing shit, especially on the internet. Like nowadays, if you're just doing cool shit on social media, online, shit just happens. People just fucking follow you, comment, DM you. It's crazy the power of all that stuff nowadays.
It's actually kind of like Black Mirror dystopian.
It's a little crazy.
Like pretty much, I hate to say this, but it's true. Pretty much everything, if you want success in life, pretty much it all comes from social media. Like let's say you're an artist, a singer, an athlete, a business owner. Every single thing is going to be enhanced if you put in work on your social media. Like that's how kind of important it is if you want to level up in life. Yeah. Like I'd even like something that just happened to me there. Like I'm going to manufacture protein bars for fuel cakes. And like I literally have like, I just mentioned it in a vlog or a podcast. And now I've got like manufacturers on my LinkedIn being like, hey, we'd love to do you a really good deal. We'll take thousands off the price and all this. It's just crazy. It's just social media is everything.
It's crazy. And it doesn't have to be like as big as, I mean, how many years have you been doing this for?
10 years. Oh, so in this 3 days, in September 1st, it'll be my 10-year anniversary on YouTube.
And it doesn't, but like all that stuff happens, even as close to like the day one. Like it doesn't have to be year 10. Like even doing this podcast, like you just say you have a podcast, you start doing it, and immediately you just start having conversations with people you never would have been even able to.
Build it and they will come.
100%.
Like even in the first few years, I got insane opportunities. Obviously, the opportunities get bigger the more your platform grows. But here's the thing: 98, 99% of people, actually, to be honest, aren't like making a living off their social media. They're just like scrolling. So if you're actually within the 1% that's creating content, it's very easy to attract a lot of opportunities. So it's people think like, oh, being this, being that, it's so hard. Well, no one else is trying.
Yeah, it's but the thing about it that's interesting too is like the balance between like living your life for the algorithm versus like what you actually want to do, and you just like, I've heard a lot of guys talk about when you get to the point where you don't really like know what's what because you get like the dopamine hit from that. It's an interesting thing, but it's cool.
Yeah. So one thing with social media, and this is my advice for anyone who is going to start an online business or they want to be, you know, an influencer, hate that word, but whatever, is don't get too caught up in the algorithm and don't get too caught up in the lows, but more importantly, don't get caught up in the highs.
Yeah.
You're going to have some viral posts. You're going to have some stinkers. You're going to have some ones that fall on their face. You're going to have months where, and it's so funny, like YouTube and Instagram like ranks you. They like rank your videos based on performance and like your months as well. It's like you have 300% more impressions this month and you can be like, oh my God, and you get all caught up in it. And then inevitably, you know, it dips as any business, any stock does, and you can get down and everything. So my best piece of advice is that if you're going to play the social media game, if you're going to go the online business route, that you gotta just stay stoic with the highs and lows. That's how you be in this industry for 10 years.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It probably holds true to so many more things outside of just social media. But shout out the 20K calorie challenge.
Yeah, that thing did a number after my wedding. So I'm getting married in like 3 weeks or something here in Marbella. After that, so right now I'm shredding for the wedding. Not going well. I'm like trying to shift these summer pounds. I'm like, I've got like whiskey sours in my skin. They're like ingrained in me. But so I'm shredding for the wedding now. But after that, I'll do the rebirth of the 20K calorie challenge. I gotta do it. Yeah.
How does that even feel? What does that even feel like, dude?
So I've got an insane appetite, and the reason where it came from was I always had a big appetite. I always loved food. I think when you're into the gym and like you have to choose your calories carefully. Yeah. So like when you eat something that's high in calories, you fucking love it. You're like, oh yeah, I've really, because you're not a fat ass stuffing their face year round. Like I swear to God, the people, if you eat like fast food every day, how could you appreciate it?
No, I know.
Whereas if you give me like a burger, pizza, and ice cream, I'll be like, whoa, this is one of a kind. You know, I never do this.
It feels so much more special.
Yeah, I actually haven't had a Domino's in like 2 years, and it's like one of my favorite pizzas ever. Maybe I might order one now for this.
Let's get it going.
So I really appreciate every calorie because I'm so into the gym and nutrition. And then I remember the first time I competed, got super lean. First time getting like show ready. I was quite young at the time. Obviously your leptin and your ghrelin hormones go all crazy. They're the hormones that regulate your appetite. I don't think mine returned to normal afterwards. So I've always just been so hungry and able to put away so much food. But 10K, 1,000 calories, I can sink that in like an hour. I can do that pretty easily.
Not even a challenge.
Gets tough. It gets tough around 15, 17. Then that's the last few were painful.
What's cool about that stuff though is like people think they have one bad day of eating and that the whole world's going to collapse.
Yeah.
But then when you do something like that, you watch like those type of videos and you realize that like obviously that's not even close to reality.
Yeah, my weight went back to normal completely like 5 days after.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts. So what's actually happening there, like the science behind that is when, and this is good to know if anyone overeats one day. So when you overeat by a lot of calories, your body does a few things to remain in homeostasis. Like your body wants to stay the same. This also works the opposite way with losing weight. We'll talk about that. But when you overeat, your TEF increases. That's your, not your TEF. When you overeat, your NEAT increases. Okay. So this is how much you move, that non-exercise activated thermogenesis. So that's how much you move throughout the day, not working out. So your body will actually like fidget more and move more, and you'll have more energy just to burn off those calories. So it's super interesting how your body regulates these things. And of course, then you're not hungry for like at least a few days afterwards. You'll find the next day your appetite is down regulated a lot as well. So your body does these things to remain in homeostasis. And then the opposite way, your metabolism, when you've been dieting for so long and you lose weight, it of course slows down because you're carrying less weight around on a day-to-day basis. And there's some other kind of metabolic factors happening there as well. And of course, your appetite goes up as well. The leaner you are, the lower body fat you have, the higher your appetite will be. So that's why like in the final stages of a dieting phase, be it for a competition, a photo shoot, anything, hunger levels are off the chart, and that's when you got to dig.
Oh yeah. How long do you think it takes to like reset that homeostatic point?
So a lot of people say you need to reverse diet after a dieting phase. And it's not really true. So what you need to do is you need to find your new maintenance calories. If you lose like 20 pounds, think about like carrying a 20 and dumbbell around. And then one day you're not carrying around 24/7. So you're going to burn like quite significantly less calories throughout like the day and the week and the months. So you need to find your new maintenance, but you can just go straight back to maintenance. So your maintenance calories. So usually like you can go up maybe 300 calories per week until you find that your weight stabilizes and you're at your maintenance levels that you can sustain. So you don't need to reverse super slowly. Just, you know, in about a week or two, you should find your new maintenance.
That's why it's so important to lift weights while you're in a, like for a lot of people who don't, or whose starting point isn't a resistance training background. Because muscle just burns so many more calories. It makes just staying at that point so much easier when you get there.
Completely. And it completely changes your appearance. Like someone at 15% body fat with a lot of muscle versus someone at 15% body fat with no muscle. The person with more muscle just looks leaner. There's more pushing against the skin. You know, you've more shape and everything. So, you know, having muscle, it's not only visually attractive, but it's one of the healthiest things that you can do is to build muscle. You burn more calories. You've less chance of becoming obese later in life. Just all-cause mortality goes down. You're fitter, stronger, happier, more jacked. You know, building muscle, even like your insulin sensitivity, everything. Like everything improves when you build muscle. So people look at lifting weights as this like cosmetic or vanity thing to do, you know, looking at your biceps in the mirror, but it's actually very health driven.
Yeah. I went to this 3-day seminar with Sean O'Malley, you know, the Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley. Yeah.
So his nutritionist and health coach and this guy, Andy Galpin, who's like a big health.
I know him. Yeah.
So it's them two. And it's just like a small 30-person lecture. And it's a 3-day seminar. The whole time it's so science driven. A lot of we're just going through studies, all this stuff. And then the last slide of the final day, and it just says, in summary, you need to get jacked and you need to get tan.
No way. That's me. That pretty much sums up my life. Was Sean O'Malley, was he like giving like nutrition talks? Because
no, it was his nutritionist.
Okay.
It was his nutritionist.
Okay. Nice.
But it was just, it's so funny. And they genuinely meant it. They're like, all this science stuff, all we're trying to say at the end of the day is if you just get in really good shape and you're tan, because they were talking about the importance of vitamin D.
I get it.
It'll cover all your bases.
It pretty much does. And so like you said, it's not just about looking tan, which is nice. And it's not just about looking muscular. All your insides, everything on the inside starts working better. And your circadian rhythm, your vitamin D levels, you know, it's just endless. And so, it sounds funny being like Jack and tan, but it's true. And ever since moving to Spain, Marbella in particular, I just noticed like there's more virility. You know, you just got more energy. You're obviously happier because your vitamin D levels has an impact on your mental health and everything. And I train better, you know, higher sex drive, libido, everything. That's actually proven that the sun makes you horny. Girls too. You know, less clothes and everything. And just everything feels so much better.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, dude. And what's so crazy is how much the role of environment plays and all that stuff. Like, I spent this past winter in New Jersey. Like, pretty cool place.
Imagine, I've never been. I imagine it to be like Ireland. I think I've flown over it when landing in JFK
I think
or something.
Might be at like similar latitudes.
Yeah, they are.
I think so. I think they're right here. So that makes sense. But I just like I have a very set point at 165, like 15% body fat, and then just but I was living in Miami before that. And then so spending that whole summer indoors, you just casually gain 6 or 7 pounds doing the exact same thing. You can't walk, dude. You can't it's just crazy.
When I'm in Ireland, I'm just gravitating around the fridge. I'm just like checking the fridge like I'm checking the news.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do.
I'm like, hey, what's new in here? No, here's a fucking yogurt. I think I'll just eat that for the laugh. Then you don't walk anywhere because it's literally like factually, Ireland and the UK just had its worst summer since like 1982. I swear to God, like all my friends' stories, it was just rain every day. So it didn't seem like much happened. But it impacts your proximity to the fridge.
Yeah, no doubt.
Literally.
It makes it effortless.
By the way. Can we jack up the aircon again? Just like put it on max there. I really messed up wearing this this gray top, but it's all good. I can go straight to the gym now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, congratulations though on getting engaged. Wedding's only 3 weeks away.
Yeah, 3 weeks away. I've got like a countdown timer on my phone. It's in the Golden Mile, in a place called Boho Club. So like we went all out, like
spot.
Golden Mile, best fucking road in Marbella, therefore Europe, you know. We've got a lot of people flying over there, and yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Awesome,
I'm really excited, and you know, the main goal there is to pump out some Rob Lipsett Juniors.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's the whole point of having a family. Like I'm actually not too like big on the whole like sign a piece of paper and do you ring now you're married. Like our relationship will probably be the same, but it just creates a safer environment to, what do they call it? The nuclear family? Is that what they call it again? To start a family with. So, I'm old school like that. I think that's the way things should be. So I'm really looking forward to it. And also my friends and my family are so excited. They're like more excited than me or anyone. Like my dad is like, my son is marrying a hottie. He's so happy. So yeah, I'm really excited for it.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
The dating in the modern environment is quite the topic, dude, right now. Especially too with social media and having a bit of a following. I have to imagine that that makes things a bit more difficult at times.
Yeah, no, Instagram's a dating app.
Yeah.
I remember when I was single, so I've been with Linda 7 years now before that I was in a 6-year relationship. So I'm a very relationship guy, but I had like a 3-year period in between that where I was single and I was I think it was 25, 26 or something. And, had a good, had the blue tick on Instagram and, I was just doing YouTube and stuff. So I had a lot of free time and Instagram is pretty much just like a dating app, and they're actually better than like Bumble and Hinge and Tinder and all that. Like they're actually indirectly superior than the actual dating app Instagram is, which 100%. Is kind of funny. But yeah, it's gotten I'd say it's even harder to navigate now. Yeah. Obviously, I've been out of the game for 6-7 years. But when I was doing it, it was all done via Instagram, and it was kind of it was fun. I had some great times, met some cool girls, and then eventually settle down with Linda. But I imagine nowadays when you got Drake sliding into these small town girls Instas and everything, you're just it's hard to compete for the average dude. Yeah, you got to the standard is so high, and there's actually a great statistic. It's something 10% of the guys at the top are getting 90% of the women. And then the 90% of the men are just invisible to the women. It's crazy, something like that. You know?
No, I know.
The top men are getting all the women. Is pretty much it.
Goes back to getting jacked and tanned.
It really does. Jacked, tanned, get your money up, but even more importantly than just having numbers in your bank account is your lifestyle. There's no point if you can't go on holiday or travel, you can't fly a girl out anywhere because you're working this corporate job that's you get 20 days off in the entire calendar year. There's no point, you can't actually do anything with your youth and your money. So your lifestyle setup, I think Dan Bilzerian actually talks a lot about that. Just the way your whole day to day is set up is pretty integral for, attracting a good woman.
No doubt. What do you think some of the key green flags, red flags are when we're looking for a girl?
Yeah.
Now in hindsight, I'm sure it's
Linda passes them. I went through them. So a good relationship with the father. Yeah. That's kind of the first one that comes to a lot of people's mind is it looks after their health and fitness. Not so just key. Visually. It's something it's to do with your character. If you look after your health and fitness, you have self-respect. Yep. You have discipline. If you're just eating shit and going out partying and drinking constantly, you've no discipline, and you're probably going to have no discipline in your relationship. So your health and fitness is another one as well. And then you want a woman that cheers you on and that doesn't compete against you. Yep. That's a big one. You see these couples and they're the nagging wife. It's a pretty typical stereotype. You don't want that at all. You want a girl that is your cheerleader, that when you wake up every day, she tells you you can do anything. And that's what I have as well. And that's more valuable than any business coach or mentor or anything.
Dude, I think those are some great ones right there. But the one that I've been thinking about, curious about, is in the context of a lot of times, if you're somebody who is have your own philosophy with things, and you start dating a girl, at times I feel like she will almost adopt that same philosophy.
Definitely.
So do you think like with the health and fitness stuff, like, is that something they evolve into? You think that's like, you should pre-select for that?
Yeah, well, you got to get a girl that's in good shape.
Yeah,
you know?
of course,
And it's very
That's a
hard
good
to
point.
change people.
Yeah.
It's very hard to like force people. Yeah, someone can pick up the gym and someone could adopt some of your beliefs, but it's very hard to change someone at the core.
Yeah.
And I saw something recently, it was a quote or something, and it's like, instead of getting with the wrong person, trying to change them, you're going to save yourself a lot of headaches just getting with the right person.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt about it. That's great advice.
Being a bit stricter on that. And that's another thing as well. Another big green flag is if you share the same beliefs.
Yeah.
And this is probably a bit more serious in America, because you guys are so
Polarized,
political. You're so like in Ireland. There's no like, are you a Democrat? Are you Republican? Just it's not even a thing.
Yeah.
But apparently in America, they have dating apps for Republicans and dating apps for Democrats and everything.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. What's funny is, have you ever seen those charts where it talks about the mental health levels based on political parties for girls? Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen them. Go on. I can imagine. But go on.
It's like, I want to say is it 80 or 60% of girls who are Democratic have a diagnosed mental health.
Yeah, they love it. They love having one. Like literally everyone wants to say, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim. I've got depression, anxiety, even when they're probably absolutely fine. They just need to get jacked and tanned.
Dude, a lot of times that stuff, like we say it kind of facetiously, but it's
true. Completely true. Like you see, even like I've had some friends or acquaintances, they're like, oh, I'm struggling with my mental health. And you look at their life, they're out of shape, they're doing work that they don't find fulfilling. They're eating a low quality, the opposite of a nutrient-dense diet, a shitty fucking diet. They're drinking alcohol. They're even using drugs on the weekend, like way too much. And they are partying. They're not sleeping correctly. And then they're trying to put this Band-Aid, like an antidepressant on all this. And it's just like, it's totally backwards.
I know, it's crazy.
And they're not tanned.
And they're not tanned, dude. What do they do? They need to get some more
They need to get more veg.
Come on, yes.
Easy, that's the prescription.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
It's what's so interesting though, like when you are a person who has that whole pyramid like put into place, and you do that, like it's a selfish pursuit, like in many ways. It's like, I want to get jacked, I want to get tan, I want to level up my business, my knowledge, like all those aspects. What's so interesting about it though is like it puts you in a situation that like, okay, I have a friend that's like, oh, my mental health is fucked up. Like, do you have any recommendations? And then like immediately you just immediately change someone's life with like with something to you that seems so like simple and easy. But it's just so crazy how like by putting yourself in that position of following out those fundamentals, you're just able to help so many people.
Yeah, like so the best part about my life, and I will always say this, and people don't believe me because it sounds like I'm just trying to sound like Mother Teresa, is when I get a message and people are like, hey, I watch your videos, I watch your fitness advice, watch your life advice, and I lost 30 pounds and I'm not depressed anymore. And I quit my job and I'm going after something that I really believe in. And that is the best part of my day. I go on sick holidays. I do sick stuff. I love my life. It's amazing. But the biggest high that I get is from feedback like that. Yeah. Even from like clients that you work with directly, like when they reach the end of the program and send you a video, and it's just so nice to hear that. It
really is. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be a fitness influencer.
No, anything. Even if you're just putting some positive vibes out there in the world,
I know. And even if you're just like in good shape as yourself, you're going to have people in your life that come to you and ask you about diet stuff.
Well, that's how I started my whole career. I was working in an office job 9 to 6, and I was always crazy into the gym. I knew it was always what I wanted to do. And then I made a Facebook page where I would just kind of like document.
That's how you know you're getting old.
I know, bro. I'm like, it is literally like 2012 or something, like crazy. That's awesome. I don't even use it anymore. Actually, it was funny. I was like, I don't even have Facebook notifications on. And I clicked on my Facebook page, and wasn't even posting on it. And Instagram automatically posts on Facebook. And there's like some posts getting like 20,000 likes. I was like, oh shit, Facebook's still going. So I started out on Facebook, and I would just document my journey.
Yep.
And then I'd have friends and family and like kind of other people from Dublin. Like the page was just like 90% Dublin following, who would just message me like for a plan. And I love doing it. I would take like an hour out of my day and like write them this tailored plan. Yeah. And then I was like, and then they go off and they get killer results. And then I was like, oh, I should just do this for a living. So that's it. Oftentimes when you're trying to come up with a business idea, it's something that you're getting asked about regularly. So just think, what is the question that people ask you the most? What is a topic that you can answer every question on? Well, there's your business idea there. There's your niche.
Yep. And it's like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
It really is that simple. It's not easy, but
just
it's that
think,
simple.
what are the last 10 questions that somebody asked you?
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you feel like when you were first getting started with that pursuit, like very embarrassed that like, you know, you have all these people from Dublin, from your hometown, and were you a bit embarrassed? Because especially, I feel like the culture, I know, especially in England, I don't know if it's the same in Ireland. There's a bit of like a self-deprecating or like pulling you back down to the median type of culture.
Yeah, it's worse in Ireland.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's way worse in Ireland because it's a much smaller country. I think the population is like, 6 million in Ireland, 66 million in the UK. Wow. So it's like, think of a small town in the UK. Ireland is that small town. It's a lovely country, but it's very small. And so everyone gossips about each other a lot, and it's very self-deprecating. Like it's like slagging culture. Yeah. Even your best friends, you can make fun of you in a mean way, or it's hard to tell if it's mean or nice. But so the story I haven't told in a while is when I clicked post on my first ever Facebook status, my first ever Facebook article, I had an anxiety attack and I fell off my chair and I couldn't look. This is so funny to think back on how this scared me so much at the time. And now like I'm walking on stage in front of 1,000 people or whatever. But I clicked post and I freaked out. I went under my desk. I put my hands on my head, and I was like hyperventilating. And I'm like, oh my God, everyone is going to make fun of me. Everyone's going to be gossiping about me. Everyone's going to be sending this to everyone in Dublin. Be like, look at this fucking loser with his top off, trying to tell us about his fitness and everything. Who does he think he is? Bertie Big Bollocks, the state of this guy. And lo and behold, you get a few haters, but everyone was, as a whole, super supportive. And all my friends, shared it in a nice way. They're like, hey, my friends just became a trainer. Go support his page. And, they're my friends from school. They're all coming to my wedding. We're still 100 day one bros, all day one. I'm so lucky to have a good group of friends. I'm so lucky with that because I know some people that start out on social media and their friend group flips on them, especially girls. I actually know a few particular girls that blew up on social media and their friends turned against them. But so to answer your question, yes, there's a huge self-deprecating and a very gossip culture in Ireland and the UK. But I think it's kind of going now a little bit. But at the time, when there was no other fitness YouTubers or fitness Facebookers would word. Then I was super afraid when I clicked post. Yeah,
it's crazy just thinking back. I mean, at least for me, how close I was to not starting the podcast, not putting myself out there. Just because you were in hindsight, just because you were embarrassed about what the people from your hometown think.
And people,
it's so crazy how much it changed.
People look at someone with 1 million followers and they won't start. Yep. But they forget everyone starts at zero. Yeah. Everyone has to log in for the first time. I know. Yeah, everyone virtually starts from zero. Maybe you can bring a few people over from another platform, but ultimately, when you key in your email, your password, you log in, everyone starts from zero. So that's one thing you just got to remember when you're starting out in the social media journey.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've heard Hormozy talk about the loneliness chapter. Have you heard him talk about this?
No, go on.
Where he talks about this concept of when you, at the start of when you're really into all this stuff of, call it training, the whole spectrum of from fitness to the business. And you kind of outgrow your initial starting friend group, but you're not at a level yet to attract that friend group that you want. And you're at this little in-between point where you don't feel like you fit in kind of anywhere.
Oh man, that was that. I don't think I've heard that one, but that's so true. And I have that exact experience. Kind of. So, of course, my friends were always really nice to me, but they have, different lives, different hours, different jobs. So there was a period, 2014, 15, 16, where I just had to, they go out in Dublin every weekend. They get drunk. That's what you do. You're Irish. And when I was starting a fitness business, building up a client base, starting out from day one, I could not do that. I pretty much didn't drink for 3 years, maybe a handful of times a year, maybe. And so that was my period of loneliness where I wasn't big enough to be rolling with Christian and the athlete guys and big enough to be getting collabs just yet, but I was still building myself up and I had to kind of go monk mode and shut myself out. So it's funny that he says that. It's literally just exactly what I went through, and I think what a lot of people go through. But the only thing is that my friends didn't shut me out. They were always trying to get me to go out, but I was just I can't,
it's not like you were getting hate from them.
No, they're always super cool.
You're just different.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I had to prioritize other things at that stage of my life. And then when I had everything set up, then, now go back to Dublin and we have some fun. But either way, you're going to have to put in the lonely hours at some stage. Be it now or later, you're going to have to go a stage where you be selfish.
Yeah. That monk mode, it's, you go through, there's a time and a place for it, but there's definitely a romanticization, I guess. I don't know if that's a real word about it.
Yeah, I like it.
But it's something that's almost mandatory at times. You need those periods of just putting in the work and focusing on just cutting out that external noise.
You got to just wake up in the morning and caffeinate yourself, sit your laptop for 6 hours. That's literally it. That's monk mode, you know? And then obviously training and diet and sleep. But my favorite times of the year to do a little monk mode phase where, I'm quite unsocial, just introverted, getting on top of everything so for me is not January because my birthday is in January. Usually it's around summer. So it's February, March, April. Okay. And then now, October, November, December, the end of the year. Yeah. I think there's nothing really going on. The weather isn't the best, especially if you're in Ireland or somewhere. And so I think they're some good times to, go into a little monk mode phase, a little deep work phase. And, these phases are, you will see 6 months progress in 1 month. It's crazy. And some people are oh, do that year round. That's not what life's about. You got to go have some fun. You got to periodize your monk mode. But they're my favorite months for doing monk mode.
Yeah. What's your protocol for that? How does that look for you?
Yeah. So the last really deep one, I did a few now in the run up to summer, and this month, I'm not going out or drinking at all leading up to the wedding. Just I want to be really fresh, want to save as well. It's also save a lot of money from just staying in. You leave the house in Miami and it's $200 on water and salad. It's crazy. But so when I was prepping for a bodybuilding show and I didn't go out for 4 months, that was dope. That was really concentrated. Having something as well at the end can really keep you disciplined. So I usually just wake up at about 6 or 7. I would smash back a lot of water, hydrate. A lot of times people think they need a ton of caffeine in the morning, but you just need electrolytes and water and you feel better. 90% of the way there. Then I'll start caffeinating, and then I'll have usually an energy drink or some Ghost nootropic, something, a coffee, and then sometimes I'll either train fasted if I've got maybe a chest day or an arm day, something light. Fun. Yeah, something fun, a little bit of pump work. I'll train fasted, and then around midday post workout, I'll break my fast. Go out for a nice lunch or something, or just cook at home, and then begin my second work block of the day, which is usually just kind of medial tasks. So when I wake up and have the caffeine and the nootropics, I'll do 3 hours super focused, just fasted as well. You feel way more dialed in. If I have a huge breakfast and try the work afterwards, I'm sluggish. I had a little bit of brain frog. Obviously depends what you eat as well, but wake up in the morning, water, nootropics, stimulants, 3-hour work block, gym, eat, easy stuff, and then try wind down the evening. That's the superhuman protocol right there.
No doubt. The biggest thing there, to actually keep up with it is you were saying before with having the goal or having the thing. It is so much easier to stay disciplined when you actually have something that you're you have clarity on what you're doing.
Exactly. And you've something to just motivate you,
Yeah.
and you've a carrot at the end of the stick to chase.
Exactly.
And so that's why you always have to set yourself these new goals that are slightly out of reach, because they're going to keep you pushing forward. And you'll realize it's not the carrot that you're chasing, or it's not the goal. It's just the actual journey. It's the process. But sometimes you need something to keep you going.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So what does your work look like? What is that 3 hours for you?
For sure. So in the morning, a lot of it is just replying to everyone, just doing replies. That's live. Have you ever seen that meme? It's like being an entrepreneur is just replying to each other until someone dies. So pretty much that. I'll do all client replies, and I'll do replies to all the brands that I work with and everything. And then I'll also do a lot of editing. I have editors and everything, but you always just need to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because an editor can't spot your awkward bits that you don't like. Only you can spot that. And it's kind of like only we notice our insecurities, which is kind of funny. So I'll do a lot of editing, creative work. I'll do plan out content as well for the day or for the following day. Something that requires me to be creative and really use brain power. And replying is, you need to be creative. Maybe you're bargaining or bartering with a deal. You're giving a thoughtful response to a client. You're thinking about your next move with your apps or whatever it is. You have to be in idea creation mode. And knock on the door. You got to be in creative mode. And so then I'll go to the gym, and then afterwards it's just fucking mundane tasks. You know what I mean? Just ticking the boxes, doing things I need to do. Yeah. So but in the morning it's mainly just replying and coming up with things that are doing things that are creative.
Do you use any VAs or anything like that? Do you outsource a lot?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. A lot.
It's a game changer.
Oh man, it's nuts. You can go on Fiverr or whatever, and you
shout
get
out Fiverr.
Shout out Fiverr, man. You just get some
changed my life.
Killer editors. People do your emails. People that run your TikTok. Yeah. People to post on Instagram for you. Literally everything. People to write your tweets. People to do whatever you want. Yeah. But I think you'll never be able to. One thing you'll never be able to replicate is recording on videos. I can't hire someone to sit here. So that's why a huge tip in business is to delegate what you can, but really pay attention to things that only you can do. And in today's day and age, I think the biggest ROI you can do as a business owner is speaking on camera. I think even Elon Musk does an hour-long talks and spaces on Twitter and everything, or X. And so there's some things that you can delegate, but a lot of them you can't. Yeah.
I mean, look at George Heaton, we were just talking about before we hit record.
My actual favorite case study for personal brand. Yeah. A personal brand helping the business. Dude, I think he's the best one. Christian Guzman also. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're amazing one. And now Ben Francis, he didn't start with putting his face to Gymshark, but now he really is. So it's just perfect example. But I think George is the best
he's
example.
A great example of that.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yes. Oh, okay. No worries. Yeah. Here, let me go. Let me go grab it. The infamous bike. Let's go. Gotta bring it in.
All right, we're back from a quick bike removal situation.
The infamous bike.
Yeah. Dude, so one thing I'm curious about, because I've been trying to piece this out for myself, what I want my day-to-day to look like. We talked a little bit about monk mode and those phases, and the balance between business, fitness, life maxing, just whatever that is on that spectrum. You see guys like Hermosi who are just locked in and are just preaching fucking work for 14 hours a day. Don't leave the couch. And then you see a guy like Thurston on the other end of the spectrum who's just doing a lot of chilling.
Yeah, exactly. Now, me and Mike have very similar lives. We often say when we're together, we think me, him, and Louis, we have the best life in the fitness industry. We strike that really good balance. Even I'm always to Christian and Max, I'm you guys work too hard. Yeah, you guys need to go to Ibiza for a little bit. Obviously, look, everyone likes to do what they want to do. But I think, me, Mike, and Louis, we strike a really good balance between it all. And you just need to figure out. So you got to reverse engineer. You got to say, okay, you got to write down, how would my ideal day look like? So there's your end result. And then you got to work back from there. And you got to break down every hour by hour. How will I put together a day that I enjoy, that makes me money and that gives me meaning and that helps other people. So that can be through anything. It could be like you're a producer for a podcast. I know my producer lives out in Bali, lives a sick life. I've got like some editors in like, I don't know where they are. There's some Southeast Asian country that I can't even think of. You know, it doesn't matter where you are. You can do anything. You can be a videographer. You can be a fitness coach. There's just infinite trading. There's infinite ways. You can social media manage. There's infinite ways that you can make money online nowadays and that give you freedom. And like, it doesn't even have to be completely online. Like I have a few high ticket clients. So I have the app. We'll break down revenue streams a little bit. I've got the app for fitness coaching. And then also I do one-on-one with about 20 guys that I'll work like, you know, on WhatsApp pretty much, just directly, me FaceTiming your ass, feeling like making sure everyone stays accountable. And a lot of them are from Ireland, the UK, most of them, good few Americans actually. But they'll like, I offer with my VIP coaching package, the opportunity to come out to Marbella and train me. They're like, hey, I'm going to be in Marbella this weekend with my wife. Let's catch a session. And I'm like, of course. So there's a little in-person element to that.
Which is so fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and even like doing talks as well, that's in person. So obviously when you want to create a life of freedom, there's going to be a lot of talk about running an online business. Oh, you can also run a podcast studio as well.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, there we go. We're literally in one. And this man travels more than anyone I know. Shout out Luke. Guys, Marbella Podcast Studio.
Let's go.
If you're in Marbella, you need a podcast. So you need to just reverse engineer your day and say, how am I going to tick all those boxes?
Yeah, dude, there's no doubt. It's the reverse engineering is so important because it's easy to look at like a guy like Hermosi and just kind of just start to feel shitty about yourself if you're not fucking wanting to work 12 hours a day. And
just look at me and Mike chilling in a beach club for most of the day.
Exactly. And dude, I have a theory that like, you know how TRT and just like steroids in general are like this hush-hush thing in the fitness industry? Dude, Adderall and modafinil in the business world and all those guys. Hermosi isn't working 14 hours a day without there's no shot.
Man, I've taken, I think it was modafinil. It was one or the other. I got it in a Mexican pharmacy in Tulum. Right, okay? And it was probably just MDMA. I was like, they've just sold me MDMA.
No wonder this is so fun.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't a pharmacy. This is the bathroom in a club. What am I saying? So I went into the pharmacy and I got these because I was in Tulum for the month. So there's a lot of distractions there. I had to respond to people. And, I'm like, oh God, my inbox
It's a great tool,
ridiculous.
Dude. It's a great tool.
So,
I don't knock on it.
So get this, okay? So I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. I'll take one of them and you just 5 hours goes like that. You're like, what the hell? Everything's done. It's crazy. But then you crash pretty hard afterwards. Yeah. And I would never take it after, like, kind of like coffee even, like I don't have it later in the day. But I've only taken it like 10 times.
Yeah.
So I had those 10 tablets and I took maybe one every like 3 weeks when I really need to get something done.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, I'm going to leave it there. I don't know where to get them here. And I'm glad.
Yeah.
So that's my experience.
Using it as a tool that way, like, once every 3 months or once every 2 months, like when you have
that's fine.
I have to imagine that's like not the effects aren't going to be
that's
side effects.
In my opinion, that's like putting a teaspoon of salt in a swimming pool. You won't notice, but when you're dropping those bad boys every day or every second day, you're going to get frazzled
twice a day from like little kids and I don't know how common it is in Europe and the States. Like probably 25% plus of kids are prescribed like Adderall like fifth grade.
Man, you know what? It's like I've heard about that statistic. I heard it's crazy high. What do you think is causing that? Like, why do you think all these kids can't concentrate? In Ireland, it's not like
it's interesting. I wonder if it's like on one hand, we're just like quick to pull the trigger and like boys are going to be boys. Like boys don't want to be locked into school. Like obviously. Two, I wonder if it's like food related. Like we just have like super shitty diets in the States. They're eating like Oreos and cookies all day and no protein, and their blood sugar is just fucked.
Yeah.
I have to imagine like it's a combination of that and not like a inherent thing.
I would say it's that, and also America is just, they love convenience.
Yeah.
It's such a consumerism.
Perfect.
When I'm in America, I'm like, there's literally like you walk down the street, every
It's a land
shop
of abundance, dude.
every shop is like a fast food place or a Walmart or a grocery store. It's like you can just go consume, and it's like there's so much choice. Like I love an American grocery store. Like I'm like, oh my God, they've got 50 different diet sodas. It's insane. It's just the land of convenience. You can like order everything. Yeah. Like it's just like there's a service for everything.
Crazy.
Like you can like, there's just, if you can think of a service like I need this done, it'll be possible in America. And it's also kind of funny. One point as well, and I see Americans always do this, especially on Twitter. They complain. They complain about America, and it is literally the easiest country to not only live your day-to-day life, but to succeed, to live the American dream. Like there's so many things that like if you're in America, you are pretty much in your own little global economy. Yeah. And like some Americans don't even have passports because they don't need to leave. It's insane. It is just the land of convenience. It's the land of opportunity. Yep. It's the land of just everything, you know, it's the main country in the world.
This air conditioning in here right now would be freezing.
We're fucking boys sweating our ass off in here. But in America, you just get anything you want whenever you want.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a great place in the sense of like that core like belief of abundance.
Yeah.
Just holds true from like abundant supermarkets, abundant everything.
Exactly.
And
abundant
it goes
business, abundant money.
Exactly.
But I have noticed in recent years, I'm not sure, since COVID, there's been like a little bit of a tint on America. Like it's kind of lost a little bit of its spark. Obviously, it'll come back. Things will come and go in waves, like maybe with the next election. People will get more patriotic. I don't know. But I have noticed.
Going away.
Yeah, I've noticed. So it actually used to be my dream to live like permanently in America. And I got an O1 visa. So I'm not sure if you know what that is. It's when you get it, it's called the Visa of Extraordinary Ability. And so you don't actually have to be that extraordinary. But what you do is you go to like the embassy or whatever, and you pretty much put together like a case of why you're at the top of your industry. Pretty easy for me to do in Ireland, you know, because no one else showed up to the race. I could be like, I've, the biggest channel, I've written this best-selling book. Here's some newspaper articles in like the main newspapers in Ireland. So I put together a whole case and they're like, yeah, no problem. And then I got approved. And then COVID happened literally like a month later. And all travel was shut down. All visa programs were shut down. And I was like, I kind of just like, well, of course I had to wait a year. Yeah. And then when the time came around, I was like, if I ever want to go to America, I can just go for 90 days. Yeah. Just get an Airbnb for 90 days and get my hit. And, I don't have to go through all this red tape. Yeah. And then I also think after COVID, like I went back to Santa Monica where I was in love with Venice Beach. That was my dream around 2016, 17. I would go there. I'd be doing YouTube videos.
Train at Gold.
And I train at Gold, go down to the beach. And then I went back and it's just like tense. Yeah. It's gone quiet. It was kind of eerie. California especially.
It's a little scary.
California, it was super.
I was not comfortable there.
Bro, so me and Linda, we went back in 2021 or 2022, just after COVID. And so there was no restrictions or anything. And it was just not the same vibe.
Yeah.
Just not the same vibe. And so that was like my favorite place in the world to live. And now I'm like, we were like, we had a great trip, but it wasn't as good as it was.
Yeah. The best part about America is how like it's so big that if you don't like LA, you go to Miami. If you don't like
Texas.
Miami, you go to Texas. Yeah. Like there's spots to go. And
it's different countries. That's how I view it.
It is pretty much like different countries. Yeah. So there's like, you can find kind of your, like whatever your vibe is, you can find that place. But to your point, dude, there's a lot of, like patriotism just going away. Like I feel like a lot of people have a very negative view on the States. And
what's your favorite part of the States? What's your favorite?
I would say best
state.
I would say best state is probably Florida.
Yeah.
Florida nowadays.
I had a great Miami trip literally 11 months ago. So last September. Unbelievable. Like way better than our, California trip the year before. It was so good. We stayed in like South Beach and Brickell. Nice. Just like ate Mexican food, trained at all the gyms, hit the beach, pull-ups in the sun. Yeah. Actually rained for like an hour every day. You get
you just get the quick rains.
The quick rains, but it was still lovely weather, still beach every day. But yeah, that was one of our favorite trips ever.
Yeah, it's a great spot. Yeah. It's a great spot. And then, I don't know, everything else kind of like, that's for my personality and like how I want to live my life, that's where it's at. But, you know, like people love New York and all that stuff, but I don't know, not for me, not for me. What about you? What would you say? You'd say Florida?
It used to be California, and then Miami would be my favorite place to like go to and have fun. If I was to live anywhere, like all my friends are from Houston because Alpha Land and Alpha.
Oh, sure. I didn't even think about that.
Boring. Like there's only Alpha Land there, you know, and then it's just motorways. Yeah. Like we stay there for like 3 weeks at a time, if not longer. And like I'd rent a car there and everything, and I'd be like, so do you want to go to the grocery store again? Yeah, we went downtown Houston a few times, the Galleria as well. We got Nobu and all the fancy stores, but there's not much like beaches or parks or anything to go to. But yeah, you know what? We just did a little training camp in Alpha Land. We just went there every day.
Yeah, traveling is like it's so nice to just have that different perspective and to be able to, even if you don't love the place, to just like check that off the box. Like if you never went to LA, you wouldn't like you know, just have that noise in the back of your head. Like,
there's a few places. Yeah, there's a few places in America. Like I've done all the usual ones, like San Diego, LA, New York. What's the place in Florida? Is it like Tampa or something?
Yeah.
A few other places like that. Oh, I've done Chicago. Yeah, I've done like all the main ones. I want to go to some random, like I want to go to like Lake Tahoe.
Yeah,
and like I want to go to like what's the big mountains called again?
Oh, there's a bunch.
What's the main one? It's like
the Rocky.
Yeah, exactly.
Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, exactly. Mountains. Yeah. So I want to do all those like random spots as well.
Yeah.
I really want to go to Arizona. No, not Arizona. Nashville.
Yeah,
that looks dope. That looks like a party.
You like some country music?
I definitely. I prefer it over half the shit that's being played nowadays.
Oh man, yeah. Exclusively. Who do you like right now?
Well, mainly Eminem is always my favorite all-time artist. D12, Dr. Dre, and then like a lot of house music. So I just went to Camel Fat about 2 weeks ago here in Marbella. They're pretty dope. Of course, love Kind Music as well. They're just everywhere at the moment. But the only like artist I could say that I'd like fanboy over or who has changed my life would be like listening to Eminem. Yeah. Like when I was just starting out, like just fucking listening to Lose Yourself. You're just like, fucking let's go to the gym.
Let's go all in, bro.
Like how can you not want to run through a wall after listening to some of Eminem's early stuff? And also actually another one is Linkin Park. But I'll never forget when I first got into the gym, I would just play Eminem and Linkin Park, just on repeat. I still listen to them so much. So they're the only like artists that have actually like changed my life.
Do you feel like do you listen to music in the gym?
Yeah. Dude, it's still all the same shit I used to listen to. It's like even actually my gym playlist has 15,000 followers. It's the best playlist ever. Check it out. Honestly, just Rob Lipsett Gym playlist on Spotify. I'm like, this is doing better than my fucking TikTok.
Dude, TikTok's a weird one.
Yeah, I don't place too much weight in it. Obviously, I know people can blow up on it, but I would just put more faith into YouTube and Instagram. I think that's the dream combo.
What's so crazy about TikTok is like, it doesn't move the needle in any way. And even if it like I gained 40K on TikTok. Yeah. And gaining 5K on Twitter did 10x the growth of the channel than to fucking TikTok. Like, it's crazy.
I have the exact same experience. So again, I got like 35, 40K on TikTok or something. And when I got 30 to 40K subs on YouTube, I quit my job. Yeah. I literally went full time in the fitness industry. Like it's crazy. Exactly. But with TikTok, I'm like, I didn't even make it impact on the business. I don't think I've ever like sold a program from TikTok.
That's crazy.
Just some 16-year-olds hating on me.
Some 16-year-olds saying you're on steroids.
Yeah, pretty much it. Yeah. I'm like, well, this isn't converting to sales.
do those comments piss you off?
No, especially not on TikTok. Yeah. I'm like, these are just like not even real.
Yeah.
Like not on TikTok at all. The only comments that get to me online whatsoever is when they're from a fan or a subscriber that really likes you and they're giving you constructive criticism. Yeah. When they're like, Rob, you need to... So I got the best YouTube subscribers ever. Yeah. Like they'll give me like really honest feedback on if I'm being lazy or not, my upload qualities aren't good enough or if I'm slacking off on training. Yeah. Like my YouTube fam is the best. The LF army, the Lipsett Fitness army. It's crazy. They're the only ones when you read a constructive criticism thing that isn't hate, you're like, fuck. You're like, oh yeah, I need to be better. Yeah. But if it's just like, hey, you Irish wanker,
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, thanks, Bob 876.
It's what's so crazy about like the YouTube subs that are like the day one guys that like that 1% is they know you better than maybe outside of like your fiance and a few other people. Like
100%. Like they've watched your come up.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm the same. There's a few people that I've followed when they had like 2,000 followers, like Steve Cook is one of them.
Wow.
And now he's like got a kid and he's married. And so I'm like, I'll never unfollow him because I am invested in his life. Yes. The amount of meals I've watched, or the amount of videos I've watched of his while I'm eating meals. And you're saying with like Christian or Casey Neistat or anyone, like the bond when you follow, especially on YouTube, a vlogger or just, YouTuber talking about their life, and the interest you get in them, like it's crazy. So if you want to build like a cult audience or a really hardcore community, is YouTube and podcast, long form content 100%. Is the way. If someone watches an 8-second video of you on TikTok, they will do this. Even that motion is kind of derogatory.
It is.
They're like,
get this guy out of here.
Get out of here. Whatever. They're not going to remember you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I'm like, there's a podcast I started watching yesterday. It's like 3 hours long. I'm in an hour and I'm like, oh, I need to pick up where I left off. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back and like watch the second hour. That's how much more impactful YouTube is than TikTok.
What was the podcast?
It's actually about conspiracy theories.
Oh, shit.
So it's this guy, Jesse Mitchells is his name.
I don't know.
And he interviews like people on like UFOs and government conspiracies.
Damn.
So aside from like fitness and health, that's my jam.
Dude, you see the guy who just got on Rogan a few days ago? His name like Lou
Elizondo. So that's where I watched that whole podcast, and then I've started watching this guy now.
Kind of mind blowing,
because it recommends. I'll get more UFO podcasts. Man, I'm a big believer in it. Like, I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, and that guy was like, he's a very reputable dude. Like he has the credentials. He felt like he had no reason to like.
No, it's him. And there's what's the other guy that saw the Tic Tac one?
Is it like Bob Lazar?
Yeah, Bob Lazar's another one as well. And then there's another guy. He's like, a gray-haired Air Force guy. Like these guys aren't like loopy stoners.
Yeah, no, these guys are legit military background, have confirmed,
verified. Like their commanding officers said it was. They're legit and everything. Mind-blowing stuff. Yeah. Like, I think it's honestly like super interesting. Yeah. And I love all the like takes on it, how it could be us in the future. Yeah. And that's like a more evolved, technologically advanced version of us.
They're looking out for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Are they malevolent or benevolent? Are they out to get us? All the stories. Like, there's so much. Like, and there's a lot of stories of the same. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it's crazy. So, apart from, listening to business podcasts on like, YouTube and social media and marketing and business, I listen to a load of conspiracy theories. I love them.
Do you listen to a lot of the business content? I find like sometimes, like, especially, I loved so much of the business content before I started the business.
Get me away from it.
And then when you get deep into the business and then you're just like, this is all just mental masturbation. Like, I can't listen to any more of this.
Yeah. Like, obviously do the Hormozy, Gary V, like even Tony Robbins. I think one interesting part of it where I do learn a bit more is like on sales psychology. Yeah. Like kind of remembering like a few questions to ask or points to hit when you're on a sales call. To be honest, I have a sales team that takes like 90% of my calls. I'm actually shit at sales. But if there's a really big
You're
prospect,
bad at sales?
I'm
surprised on that.
Yeah, everyone is. I always feel guilty. Because like when I'm like, let's say it's a high ticket client that wants to work with me for ages, I'm like, they're usually like someone who loves me, who's been watching my YouTube for years. I'm like, man, I want to give this to you for free. Yeah. So I feel bad. I'm like,
you take away the business.
Credit card details, let's go. So I'm too much of a nice guy. Yeah. So I have a sales team that just takes a commission off every sale, which is great for them.
To know that about yourself. Because I kind of feel very similarly. Like, someone's like tells me they want to buy, like DMs me on Twitter, like, oh, dude, I want to buy XYZ product. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, dude, here's 20% off. Like, let me know when you place the order, dude.
Do you know what? One of my friends, he is like a sales coach and he's really good. So I said that to him and he was like, your offer's amazing. You just need to not even be more confident in it. Just like really realize like how good it is.
Yeah.
Like realize that you're not ripping these people off, or you're actually giving a really good deal when you break down your time per hour. They're like, so you just need to like reframe your mind into really just being like, oh, like what Hormozy says, like an offer so good, people feel crazy not to take it. So that's one thing. I do watch a lot of like sales psychology to get better at that. And it makes a huge impact. Like there's a few like questions you can literally ask. And it's crazy. Asking questions can make you thousands more. You know, it's like you can just literally, you can have them in front of you on the screen if you want. And you can just read them and then it'll completely change the conversation. It's like putting in cheat codes on your PlayStation.
Yeah, it's like just focusing on the other person, like taking away that focus away from yourself and just onto what the other person says.
Yeah, it's actually easy. You just like ask questions, let them talk, you know?
Podcasting teaches you quick to have that skill, dude.
Exactly. I'll never forget the first podcast like I ever did on my channel, not guested on, was Dorian Yates. And so I was like, I'm going to shut the fuck up for this one. And all the comments were like, nice one, Rob. We would have presumed, because I'm a very talkative guy. Like when I'm on another podcast, I'll yap, even in person. But so all the comments were like, thank God, Rob. You
just let him talk.
You got into interview mode. And that's like my most viewed podcast now. And it was actually one of my favorite ones I've ever done.
Nice.
But I was very wary of that going into it. I was just like, Rob, shut up and listen. Get some wisdom from this goat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think of like he has like that training philosophy, him and like Mike Mentzer versus like the more conventional view of, so they're like less volume. And then there's guys like Arnold that were like more volume guys. What do you kind of think about that, the whole spectrum?
Yeah, I think Dorian, I'd be more towards Dorian. Like people really, he was into like 3-4 mad training sessions per week, like pushing yourself all out and then taking more rest. Like I train 5 or 6 days a week just because I like being in the gym. Yeah. I know I don't need to be there. Like I could get this. I agree. I just like to be there. Yeah. You know, so I could get this physique perhaps even better doing 3 or 4 days. Yeah. Even I would push to 3 days. Yeah. Like and a 3 full body, like really going all out, or even like you could do like, you know, upper, lower, upper or whatever way you want to split it. You know, ideally you want to hit everything twice per week, but so I would recommend 3 full body, but you'd have a different emphasis on each day. So like, let's say you have 3 full body workouts. Workout A, you would begin with bench and it'd be full body. Workout B, you'd begin with squats, but then go into full body. And then workout C, you'd begin with like a pulling movement, like deadlift, and then go into upper body. So they're kind of still a different day, but you still...
It's full body, but focused on back, chest.
Exactly. So yeah, I could definitely get this physique doing that. Like it's one of the most popular programs on Game Plan, my app as well. But I just like being in the gym. But so to answer your question, I'd be more towards Dorian's training methods.
Is there anything you think that's like provided you with like an outsized return? Like, so for me right now, I'm probably year like 8, 9 of training. Do you think there's anything at that point that has provided you with an outsized return once you already kind of have the fundamentals down? You've done the progressive overload and you just like the normal traditional stuff.
Yeah, well, right now I'm trying to maintain. Yeah, I don't make gains anymore. Yeah. I've been like within a few pounds of this weight since like maybe my physique's even better. Back in 2018, I was younger as well. But like you can see some pictures of me like shredded in 2018 and I'm like maybe even more jacked than now. But the thing that I found that I wasn't paying enough attention to in the beginning years was sleep. That was for me because our mind goes straight to the gym and the kitchen when we think, let's get in a program. Let's get jacked. They go, okay, weights, kitchen. Like your mind literally thinks of food and training. Yep. But because sleep is boring. It's a boring topic. Yeah. You're like, just go to sleep.
And it's like, there's nothing to it.
Exactly. You don't even remember it half time. And so, but then I actually I listened to a podcast by Joe Rogan and Matthew Walker. Yeah. And classic. I was like, when I just heard all the percentages and statistics on sleep, I was like,
dude, it's mind-blowing.
It was like everything, your decision-making, your reaction time, your strength, testosterone, recovery, everything just goes up. So when I heard all these facts and figures, I had piqued my interest, and then I started putting together a really good nighttime routine.
Nice.
And that's more important than your morning routine, in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you think your nighttime? What is your nighttime routine?
Yeah. So my phone after like 7 p.m., I don't get notifications.
Yeah,
you know,
that's an important one,
it
dude.
automatically puts it on.
Shut that
so I'm like,
shit
you
off.
could be like, oh, the most important. Rob, there's $1 million offer online. I'm like, I ain't seeing it till the morning. So that goes into like, I think it's called do not disturb or sleep mode. So you can set it at whatever time. That's a big one. Sleep with the phone in the other room. That's not only like, I just feel weird when it's behind
for so many habits.
Yes, exactly. So exactly, more than one. I feel weird when it's beside my head. It's fucking microwaving my brain. But also, when your alarm goes off, if you set an alarm, you have to get up out of bed to turn it off.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate hack to wake up early. Even leave it like downstairs.
Yeah.
So it's really leave it beside the coffee machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's that as well, and of course, don't be staring into a screen right before you go to bed.
Yeah.
That one is like literally dilating your pupils, like you're literally like really stimulating yourself. And a huge one for me is I cut off caffeine as early as possible. So whenever I really work out, I don't have it after that.
Yep.
But even that, like if I'm working out at 3 p.m., no, I'm not having pre-workout. I'm going a day without it. But like, so I try to cut off caffeine like really as early as possible, ideally like 10 a.m. And then I'll work out and that's it. Yeah.
What time do you go to bed at?
Usually I'm in bed at like 10 or half 10, and then I'm like fall asleep at half 11.
Dude, that's early for the Marbella lifestyle,
well,
bro.
yeah, no, there's
you
some
can't
nights.
go out to dinner, bro.
Yeah, bro, some nights where there's no bed. Yeah. But on an ideal, like last night, you know, get into bed at 10, half 10, start winding down, then like go to sleep, fall asleep at half 11.
It's hilarious how a lot of restaurants don't even open here till like 8 p.m.
It honestly messes me up. And so there's a few nights where like, you know, me and Linda will go out to dinner. Yeah. That's like favorite thing to do. We love trying out a new spot in Marbella. It's hot. You're sitting outside and like you have like 2 wines with dinner and like a big, huge meal. Fucks up my sleep so badly.
Good for the soul. Though.
Good for the soul. Come on, you know. Yeah, I'm all about it. But if I like, that's another one as well. Like even not in a restaurant, if I eat late, I feel like I've got like a rock in my stomach, or I feel like bloated, and I'm moving around a lot. So you want to be almost like nice and cold and fasted and just like ready to sleep. You know, you don't want to be like fueled up to go after the day. But yeah, I love you know, going out to eat and everything. But I notice 2, 3 wines or drinks, whatever. I'm
that
like,
whoop score goes down the tube.
I got this yesterday. Today's my day. It hasn't even given me the stats because it's day 2 of wearing it. Go. You have to wait till like day 3 or day 7. So yeah.
Is that a sponsor?
They sent it to me for free, not paid. They gave me like an affiliate thing that like anyone can get in their website, and they'll say they said, let's see how, you know, your audience responds to it, and then we can do some paid partnerships.
What's the code there?
The code's Lipsett.
Code Lipsett. Go check out. Go get a
whoop.com/Lipsett. There you go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know Louis and Mike kill it.
They
on
love
there.
that. They have a funny little thing going on.
They love it. They're always trying to out-whoop each other. But they legit wear theirs like 24/7, 365. They really like it.
Getting dialed with that stuff, it's just so enlightening. Like you just learn
the biggest one is sleep.
Yeah,
you know, my sleep wasn't great last night. It was only like 6.5, 7 hours or something like that. You know, you want to get above 7 really.
Yep. And so, any supplements with that? Any sleep supplements?
Yes. Sleep supplements, mainly just magnesium glycinate. Apparently that's the best one. Like you can take like any magnesium, it'll help you relax, but it's the best one.
Crazy dreams from that?
I have crazy dreams always.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah, they're like pretty consistent. So I don't notice an uptick. But ZMA is a good one as well. You know, zinc, magnesium, they're often combined together. That's a good one to take before sleep. I heard the Hoobs, he said magnesium glycinate is the best one. Glycerol is another good one for sleep. I haven't actually taken that in a long time, but I noticed that did help a little bit too. There's also like a CBD company that I started taking a while ago. It's called Arctis. I think the code's Lipsett as well. And boom, this podcast paid for.
Let's make some money,
they had like CBD, magnesium, melatonin in it, and L-theanine. Super good for sleep.
That's a good little stack.
It's a really good product. Actually, I haven't found a supplement with all that together.
Yep.
Ghost are bringing out a sleep supplement next week.
Go.
So I'll have to ditch Arctis for the contract. Yeah, they won't allow it.
Oh man, that's funny.
For real. But then in terms like in morning, I'll do like a greens powder, which covers most things. Creatine, pre-workout, which is caffeine, a pump product as well. So there's like some good stuff for blood flow. That's like
a
good
beta
for
alanine or like a L-citrulline, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. L-citrulline mainly. Agmatine is another one.
Yeah.
So it'll give you a good bump, but it's also healthy to have promote good blood flow as well. Like even people that don't go to gym take L-arginine and all.
Blood pressure and all that stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So they're the kind of main ones. Nothing too crazy. Fish oils, vitamin D, although I definitely don't need it. Definitely, it's just
you tan for that.
Just like maxing out vitamin D levels. And then let me see. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Covers it. Any that you think like have provided an outsized return? Probably creatine, right?
Creatine, caffeine. Oh shit! One I forgot, electrolytes as well. That's a killer one.
Nice. What brand do you use for that?
Ghost everything.
I didn't know they had electrolytes.
Yeah, it's like one of their best products as well. Yeah, it's great.
What flavor?
Kiwi strawberry and lemon crush, but I would choose kiwi strawberry. And I can see who buys what when they use my code. Like, so the most chosen one, and like the pre-workouts number one. No, the proteins number one, the pre-workouts number two, and then the electrolytes are number three. So people obviously like them.
Yeah. Interesting, dude. What do you think some of the most common like diet training? What do you think some of the biggest mistakes are with that stuff?
So every problem can be solved with tracking. Yeah. And so it's easier said than done.
Go back to the Whoop. Go back
to this Whoop, Game Plan, MyFitnessPal, whatever it is. Hey, even a notebook.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing results, okay, it's because you're going through the motion and something somewhere has gone wrong.
Yeah.
With your results, be it physique, your health, or anything, it's just a numbers game. Okay. You need to be in a deficit to lose fat. You need to be progressively overloading to build muscle. You need to be sleeping a certain amount of hours per night for your recovery. Yeah. These are all things that you can quantify. So if you're really serious about your results, I know it's a pain, I know it can be annoying, but you can just track each and every one of these metrics and pretty much guarantee yourself results. And on top of that, though, you got to be honest with yourself. So there's some people that like they'll track for a day and they say, "Oh, I'm only eating this much." There's actually a really good TV show. It's canceled now. I'm not surprised because we're all wokey now. But it was called Secret Eaters. You can look it up on YouTube, and it's where it would follow around people with hidden cameras who are like trying to lose weight and get healthy. You know, they're all overweight and obese. And they'd ask them to report how much calories they're eating per day. And like, this sounds kind of cruel, but it's actually just, it's from a fitness and health. I nerd out on this. I actually find it really interesting. They asked them to report on how much calories they're eating. And some would say like 2,000 and they'd be eating 6,000. Like they're not even close. You know, so when you're tracking, you got to be super honest with yourself. And that's a way you can guarantee results. And then over time, you can taper off. You don't have to like, you can go out to eat with your girlfriend, relax, you know, go out with the boys once in a while.
Once you get to that point.
Once you get to that point. But if you are not seeing results and you've never tracked, it's kind of like asking, and someone's like, "Hey, how much calories are you eating?" and you've never tracked. It's like asking yourself, how long's a piece of string? Like, how would you ever know? You know, how much you benching, you know, how much you lift in the gym.
And then the best part about that is you can guess so well how long that string is when you've been guessing.
I don't track anymore. I do when I really want to like get dialed in, but majority of the time I don't track. You know, I'll maybe do it like once or twice a week. Obviously, when I'm prepping for like a show or a shoot, it'll be 7 days a week, of course. But when I'm just like, you know, getting lean for summer, once or twice a week, because I've done it for years leading up to that. So that's my biggest piece of advice is just like you can pretty much track and quantify everything. Another one as well, like let's put tracking aside. Another one is, this sounds funny. Okay, there's two more things. Okay, so number one is the tracking. Number two, Dan, this is me after coaching thousands of people. This is what I've seen the most. Number one is tracking. Number two is people worry over timing, and it's not important. The 6 meals a day, or 2 large meals with intermittent fasting, 4 standard meals a day, none fucking matters. All that matters is what you eat in the entire day and following an eating schedule that you can stick to. That is the most important thing. And that's one of the biggest things that I see people get wrong is stressing over nutrient timing. Yes, it plays its role, but for 90% of people,
it's marginal.
Just find an eating routine you can stick to. And number 3 is eating too much healthy food. Now, so that's
the one I have trouble with.
That's a soundbite, okay? This is, I'm like calling out myself here. I love potatoes, steak. I even like, I eat like a pound bag, like a plate of broccoli. Like I love eggs. I love cheese, dairy, all this good stuff. Like, have you seen those people doing like carnivore boards?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's delicious.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I would fucking eat 3 of them.
Yep.
But if I wasn't tracking the calories on them, or if I put myself out of deficit, which I easily would, there's going to be 0 fat loss.
Oh, 100%.
So that's one thing.
Like, ribeyes all day that have like 2,000 calories per steak. It'd be crazy.
Exactly. Like, steak, eggs, potatoes, peanut butter. I'll pound that all back. Yeah. And these are all quote unquote health foods. Yeah. And so many people, they're like, I'm eating healthy, or they're going out for like on their work break and they're having like a big salad in like a chain. Like what do they have in America? What's a real popular salad bar?
Oh, now I'm blanking.
It's one. It's like even like Chipotle when you get the salad bowl, it can become like 2,000 calories.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And there's like the McDonald's salad is higher calories than the Big Mac. Like people will pound back a healthy salad every day, and it's like 1,200 calories.
Sweet green.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one.
Yes.
I love that place.
It's delicious.
It's so good. But when they're going through all the toppings and you're like, yeah, I'll have some of that. Oh, I'll have all that. Oh, yeah, I'll have some sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Covered in chili oil. And you throw them on. You can just rack up thousands of calories. And people be like, oh, I'm having eggs in the morning, and then, with a protein shake, and then I'm having a salad for lunch, and then I'm having, steak and rice for dinner. Yep. And it's like, you're probably knocking back like 3,200 calories.
Yeah.
You're like eating like, just way more than you need to be in a deficit. So they're the 3 things that I've most commonly seen.
Dude, I love that because it's like there's so much confusion with like the diet world, and it's just solely because there's the 2 ends of the spectrum where people are talking about like, they're talking about like keto, carnivore, whatever, and not tracking. But all they're doing is like eating a super satiating diet that like allows them to be in a deficit without tracking. Yeah. And then they claim the magic is the diet itself and not the not the calories. And
bro, it's just everything puts you in deficit, be it intermittent fasting, you're just reducing your meals. Yep. Be it, like you said, cutting out carbs. With keto, you're just eliminating a food group. With tracking macros, you're just making sure you're in a deficit. It's just whichever veganism. People are like, oh, I lost weight in veganism. Yeah, because you can't eat anything. Literally, like everything is off limits. Yeah. Gluten-free is another one. They stop eating bread and pasta and they're like, oh, it was the gluten making me fat. No, you cut back your daily calorie intake by thousands. Yep. So it's just all a deficit dressed up differently. And I don't hate on different dietary protocols. Follow whatever you can stick to and whatever you like. But just do understand that calories are king.
Yeah. No doubt about it, dude. Yeah. And so when it comes to the business side of things for you, and there's a lot of different streams of income, it seems like. You got like the app, you got the sponsorships, YouTube, all that stuff. What does that breakdown look like?
Yeah, for sure. So at the top, I think there's like 7 in total, but I'll forget it. But I'll put them into subgroups. So like you've like Game Plan, the one-on-one ticket coaching. Then you've Ghost, Alfleet, 4, YouTube, 5. They have brand deals, like, one-off brand deals, 6. And then like you'll just have other random shit, like an affiliate deal, like on the CBD or Whoop. 7 is like miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So there's like 7 streams of revenue that I could probably think of some more, but they're just off the top of my head. But let's lump them into subgroups. So number 1 would be coaching. That would be the bulk of my income. So like I mentioned, one-on-one and Game Plan. And then number 2 would be sponsorships. And then number 3 would be affiliate stuff. So commission and stuff, either from those sponsorships or from other things or for brand deals. And then lastly, probably YouTube. Yeah. But I never, I don't even monetize a lot of my vids. I'll put like a 6 song in it. Well, that's it. But so the good thing about YouTube is I've made like 800 videos. And so all those videos, so many of them have not gone mega viral over 1 million, but they'll get like 400,000 or 500,000 views. They'll always be ticking away in the background. And you need to realize it's not just about like what you post in the month. It's like your bank of content. Mm-hmm. So that's like my pension. That's like my life and shit. I love it. It's crazy. So I'll always get this check, not check, check in the mail, figuratively speaking. I'll get something deposited in my account from Google Ireland. And I'm like, it's always a couple thousand, you know? And I'm like, this isn't my biggest, it's the smallest. Yeah. But I'm like, hey, that's lovely.
Yeah.
You know, that's a nice little thing for something that fuels all the rest of the business. Like I would do YouTube for free
the core of
if
everything.
I did monetize it, and you still get paid on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic, you know. And I will never forget, before I started doing all this, I earned minimum wage in Ireland, which was 1,800. And working 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. So now that like my smallest payment covers that without even doing anything, I'm always forever grateful. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's beautiful, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
Have you monetized the podcast at all?
Yeah. So we got some big sponsors at Oracle. One of them, you know, I'm like, that's like being sponsored by fucking Microsoft.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
So their budget's is like fucking crazy, you know. So
that's awesome.
when you start working with these, like, and like Babbel's another one, which is good because like I was like, when I was building a house in Marbella, I needed Spanish. Yeah. So yeah, I've got a good few ads. I've got so he's a good friend of mine. He's an Irish guy named Darren Lee. He runs a podcast producing agency, and so I hired him when I want to do my podcast properly. So he'll look after like virtually editing, recommending guests, making connections. He'll do even like the timestamps, the thumbnail, upload it for you. Obviously, he has like staff and everything.
Yeah.
And he'll even get sponsors for me. So, and he like works with some really big brands.
Yeah. Darren's a good dude.
Yeah, Darren's a good, nice guy. Irishman as well. Living out in Bali, living a good life. And so he kind of got all that for me.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. So what is the time equivalent that each thing takes, you think, pretty comparable to the work that's put in the sense of like, I spend the most time working on the coaching business and the coaching business is the number one thing? Or is there some misalignment there, you think?
Funny enough, when I first started online coaching, like years back before I built an app software that can handle it, before that, I was doing it all like via email. It was so prehistoric. Like typing them out like a monkey, like every single one. And like it took up so much time. It took up crazy time. And then I put a lot of systems in place. And like not only with the app, so that's just, I was like customer service, the software updates everyone's programs. I've got like a team looking over it. I can even just dip in really easy to the back end and make any changes to someone's program. Like it takes seconds and it's really fluid. And then even with the high ticket, I've got systems in place. I've got, people setting appointment setters. I've got a sales team. I've got onboarding team. I've got an assistant coach that sets up. So I'm very hands-off.
Yeah.
And so I've set up all these systems in place that it runs things pretty smoothly.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's how you want things, obviously.
So I'm on that Mikey T time. I'm just chilling.
That 4-hour work week.
Oh man, exactly. But it took me 10 years to get here. Took me when there was no mainly what I do is in the morning, like I said, I do 3 hours deep work. That's like the bulk of my day. 4-hour work week, not yet. 3 hour in the morning, that's where we are. But I've streamlined everything quite well to put some systems in place.
It's really cool to see. I mean, I love hearing that because I see people because that's close to the lifestyle that I want to live.
Of course, yeah.
And, I interview a lot of people for the podcast and I see both ends of that spectrum. So I just love hearing like the ability to leverage things, being able to properly position yourself in things so you can be a little more hands-off and you don't have to be fucking working 10 hours a day for your business to run.
Well, the ultimate goal is to set up streams of income, revenue streams, businesses, if you will, that don't require you. Yeah. Like with fuel cakes even, I'm not like...
Oh yeah, you didn't even mention fuel cakes.
Yeah, they're currently out of stock. They're actually
I know, I've been trying to get some pancakes,
they'll be back in stock in like 2 weeks. And so that's number 8.
Okay, let's go.
But again, like I'm not in the factory packaging up orders and everything. You can... That's actually a good point. Like what we were talking about, it's almost like, how do I say, a digital business, even though it's a physical thing. I can run it from anywhere in the world. So that's another one as well. But I'm not in the factory packaging up orders. So, you'll figure out how to outsource everything, but it'll take a while to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest part is the marketing. And when you have the funnel built in with YouTube and all the stuff that you're doing, you can easily run the e-com stuff just like so hands-off.
Or just to hire someone to do it for you. Someone better than you.
Exactly. That's the key. Yeah. Fucking most people are better than you. And things you like.
Most people better than me than everything.
I mean, I'm talking about me personally. But, it's crazy how like there's a lot of room for leveraging things once you can properly like handle everything.
No, for sure. But it'll take a lot of figuring out. And
no doubt.
like, if I was to go back to my 22-year-old self, like, it would be great if I knew what I know now, but it's fun figuring it all out.
Yeah, no, that's all a part of it. And that's the only way you get to that point, right? Like, Rob, dude, thank you so much for this today. This was awesome.
Put it there,
Appreciate you.
No, honestly, I'm
That was
so
a great
glad.
one.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. I'm so glad we also got to do this in person.
Yes.
Love seeing you guys.
So
Like,
much
I love
better.
seeing more people in Marbella who do this type of thing. And look, I'm glad round 2 went well.
Let's go. And so last part, I need a new workout program.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the game plan out.
I'm going to give you a
No,
code,
no,
a
we're not
secret
doing that.
code.
We're
I'm
not
giving you a
doing
secret
that.
code
I'm
that
not
gives you a
listening.
lifetime membership.
I'm not going to do that, but which program do you recommend starting with that one?
How much times a week can you make to the gym?
I love training, dude. I'm like you, so.
You're going to be on the 6-day legs push pull then, baby. But
let's do it.
I'm going to show you that code. All I ask is that you do a review of how you're finding the
Of
training.
course. Would love to.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Done.
Appreciate you.
Sweet. Smash. Unreal. Boom.
Let's go.
There we go.